lovely people. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's topic is how to stop worrying and start living in the moment. Easier said than done, right? But let's dive into why we get worried, why there are so many distractions, why there are so many thoughts you have in your mind, and simple tricks and tips that you can do in order to stop having that overwhelmed feeling that can actually go into anxious feelings and then into panic attack. Let's start. So worrying can be really debilitating because it kind of never goes away. I'll tell you a little story about my dad, and he's a worrying type. So he worries about a lot of things, and I can totally understand him because I used to be the same. Now I can actually control that worry, but before I couldn't. So he starts to worry about something. For example, financial situation or future. And then that situation resolves, it gets better. So he doesn't have to worry again, but no, he finds something else to worry about. And then when that situation resolves, he still keeps worrying, right? Because the root cause is not resolved of the worry. And it feels like a never-ending cycle. It feels even if you decide, if you make a decision, if this situation, if the problem is resolved, you still worry all the time. Why that happens? It's because your subconscious mind gained control over your mind and over your soul. Your subconscious mind receives all the information through 5 senses, right? And even the 6th one, the intuition. But everything you see, hear, smell, and taste, and touch, right? The touch as well. Everything you receive that information, and according to what you hear and what you see, that's the kind of information you're going to receive. Either it's a threat, danger, peace, or something else, or fear. Whether it's something negative or positive, that will also affect what you receive into your mind. When your mind receives that information through your senses, it starts to process it. Can you imagine what happens if there are so much information that is coming into your mind that the mind just keeps processing it, seeing the dangers, because the subconscious mind always looks for negative to protect you, always looks for something that is negative. So if you're watching the social media a lot, the information about other people's successes or failures, some news, will come into your mind. Then you watch the news, then you watch the Netflix where you also kind of live with that hero of that show. Then you can smell something that you don't like. You can start worrying about that. You can hear something that your friends say or your family members say that you start to worry about that, because mind always look for the reason of worry to keep you protected, to protect you. So the more channels of information that you have, inevitably, the more worried we're going to have. But think about this world. Look at this world. Look at how a lot of different industries, marketing, for example, TV and marketing will only worry about how to make you a consumer. Your family will make you do other things. For example, friends will tell you their stories, so you start to worry about that. Social media, friends, work. So can you imagine how much information comes to your mind? And your mind, as I said, the subconscious mind will looks for danger. So the first thing that you need to understand how to stop worrying and start living in the moment is to eliminate the sources, these information channels. Have you seen people who live on farms? They live in more secluded, isolated places, right? They don't have that much worry. Why? Because they eliminated the channels of the information. So find things that are really important to you. For example, it could be your self-development, your inner peace, your family, your work. That's it. If you put something else into it, if it's not positive, for example, like activity, hobby, right? Something like that, then of course it's going to create the worry. So worrying always happens in the past or in the future. It means that you're not living in the moment. If you are not living in the moment, you are not living. You're surviving. I know that feeling. I have been in that feeling for 32 years. And only then I started to realize how important it is to actually be in the moment, because in the moment, rarely there is worry. It doesn't happen. So what can you do? These little simple steps, which can you do in order to reframe that worrying, to stop worrying actually? You will still have fear. We need fears. They motivate us. They sometimes inspire us. They actually give us the understanding where is the real danger, right? So you don't, walk on the opposite side of the road on a highway because you will fear for your life. So we need fears, but not the worry. And the worry, you can call it anxiety, but still, it's still worry. The first one is you have to make a list. And this is my best advice. Make a list of what price you are paying for worrying. Just take a piece of paper, write down 5, 10 things. What price you are paying for worrying all the time or for being anxious. I don't like the word anxiety, so I always say worry because it's not that strong. So write down, for example, I am not creative. I am not productive because I cannot do a lot of things in a day if I worry all the time. I start to overreact, to be angry or frustrated or anxious to the point sometimes of panic mode. For example, I don't give attention to myself because I'm worrying all the time about something else. I don't do self-care. I cannot find that time for myself or for my kids or for my loved ones because worry takes away a lot of energy. It occupies your mind and your mind cannot focus on something else. Sometimes when we are living with our partner and our partner sometimes get frustrated if we don't pay attention to them because we are worrying or we are anxious all the time, or we are in panic mode. That may mean that your mind is completely occupied with the worry. You cannot pay attention to anything else. It's not your fault. You just don't know how to get out of that cycle yet. You can change anything. So please write the list of all the things that you can do in order to help yourself. What price are you paying for that? The next one is write down or define it, put it into your phone notes, whatever works for you best. What is important in your life? Put down 3 things. Don't put 10, because if you put 10, your mind will just start worrying about all of that. 3 things that are important to you. Connection to nature, family, and myself. I think that's the best list, right? Everything else will follow. If these 3 things are money, career, and overachieving, then you can imagine that you will be worried about these things. And on top of that, you have family relationship and self-work and inner work and healing and health. So choose wisely. Choose wisely 3 things that are really important to you and eliminate everything else. Eliminate everything else just for a little bit until you find that inner peace, and you will be able to filter. Because for now, if you are worrying all the time, there is no filter. Everything comes in, you start to worry. If you're worried about something specific, for example, financial situation, find the root cause. Fear of poverty is our primal fear. We always will be afraid for our survival. But at the same time, it takes away a lot of your inner resources, creativity, maybe ideas. So maybe if you didn't worry about that, you could start working on abundance. So work on that, right? There is an abundance in this world. If you have that fear, if you have a fear of, not being in a relationship that you want, or wanting a relationship, start to really understand that once you start to take care of yourself, to love yourself, that's when the loving, amazing relationship will come in. Because if you don't, no matter what kind of partner you have, no matter how your partner can praise you, it still will never be enough. Because for our subconscious mind, it's never enough. Remember your emotions. For them, it's never enough. Ever. So you need to start to disattach yourself from your emotions and connect to your soul. And then you will be able to control, my emotions is actually my tool. It's your tool. So the other one is learn about your mind. You don't have to be a neuroscience. You don't have to be a psychologist, psychiatrist to know simple rules of the mind. Marie Sapir has an incredible YouTube channel where she talks all about the rules of the mind. Lots of my videos as well add to those rules of the mind as well, where I learned from different sources, right, about how our subconscious mind works. Watch those as well. Please find the amazing, incredible, beneficial sources of information. Something that will create positive vibes, something that will be very good for your future growth and for your current growth. Practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. Sometimes clients come to me and they say, I'm grateful for what I have, but I'm still so anxious. If you are grateful for what you have now, there is no anxiety. There is no anxiety. It means that you're jumping out of that moment, probably, of that present moment. That could be an issue. So gratefulness is when you are grateful even for challenges. Don't forget that everything that happens is for the best. Even if it feels really, really painful and hurtful and emotional and dramatic right now, it's for the best in the future. So adopt that mindset. It's for the best to be grateful even for challenges. Because if you're not grateful, of course, your mind will jump into the future. It's never going to be enough what you have now. The universe is like, okay, if you're not grateful for what you have now, how can I give you more? And then the events are happening in our life that are not very positive for us because we put that energy into the universe and we get the energy back the same. There is a law of energy exchange, right? Whatever you put, you get back. So put something good. Gratefulness is an incredible source. And the gratefulness, by the way, will lead to forgiveness, to overcoming any anger or resentment, to release and letting go a lot of other negative things. And the last one is minimize your life. Minimize your life. If you are worrying, for people who are not anxious, who don't have those panic modes, maybe for them it's okay. They have this filter, where they filter what comes into their mind. Maybe they're at the level of self-development already where they can filter it. But for you, if you still worry about so many things in your life, you always keep worrying, even if the situation was resolved, you still find something to worry, or something comes into, or the events come into your life that make you worry, please minimize your life. Focus on 3 things that are important. And one of them should be you. And the other one should be something that is really important to you. What is important to you? What is important? Whatever you make important, you will be worried about that. So make something nice, like for example, yourself, right? Or your family, relationship, meditations, inner work, mindfulness, physical exercise. All of those things are beneficial to you. They will add the seed towards your healing. I hope that makes sense. But if you have any more questions, please let me know. Use at least one of those advices, one of those tips and tricks, and it will help you so much. I love you all. Don't worry. Be calm. Just for today. Be patient, be calm, and be kind. Bye.